open the meeting, so let's stand and do a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We got a public hearing at 6:30. And then we took a recess. So I'll first order of business is correspondence, and I want to bring the public's attention to the Girl Scouts of Northeastern New York Service Unit 126 that will be sponsoring a 9/11 limelight vigil in remembrance to those that lost their lives 15 years ago, September 11, 2016. It's going to be held at the Columbia County 9/11 Memorial at the Volunteer Park, State Farm Road, and Galatia. And speaking personally, I was there last year, and it was a very lovely and moving event. I think the fire departments show what goes like this.
I like it. It made him hot. Yeah.
I was going to dance out to the music.
This is the public comments statement. The Chatham Town Board appreciates information received from the public during the public comment portion of each meeting, which often is very helpful in the governance of the town. However, it is sometimes difficult to have a specific or informed response when presenting questions in this forum. The town board may attempt to respond during the public comment period, except as to personnel employee issues, which will not be addressed, but may also defer discussion or response pending a full review of the issues. Additionally, any remarks which may be considered defamatory or stigmatizing are discouraged. This is the public comment section of the meeting. So, would the public like to comment? If you would stand and state your name.
My name is Ben Nagy. I'm a resident of Old Chatham. I'm here to make an attempt at getting the ball rolling at new signage, privatized funding for the hamlet of Old Chatham on the entranceway. So it would be 4 signs coming into Old Chatham, something of a quaint design, something that you'd see in other small municipalities, wood design, possibly, gold leaf, if you can sort of imagine that type of deal. I spoke with several residents in the town as well as business owners, and there's a clear want for this, and there does not appear to be an issue to attempt a privatized funding of this. I've also spoken with Joe Ricker on the matter, as well as some board members presently, and I'd just like the approval to start the fundraising effort, and I'm sure there's going to be issues and questions regarding proper placement and type of litigious matter down the road. But I'll be here to assist and spearhead the campaign for this.
Why don't you give me a call next week or send me an email?
Sure thing. Thank you.
Gail Lundy, Old Chatham. I've read quite a bit in the paper about the shortage in the town budget. Could anybody briefly tell me how this occurred and what is planned to be done about it?
Well, we've conducted a number of meetings, and I think the newspapers covered the story pretty well. I think if you want to go back into the minutes of the meetings, you certainly can. But it's something that's transpired over a number of years. And it was discovered through the audit and constructing a new budget. So without going into much detail, and that's about the best I can give you at this point.
How come this wasn't discovered? I mean, what was I assume most of you people were on the board at that time. Nobody knew that there was anything going on, or you don't go over the budget line item by line item, or you aren't aren't familiar with budgets, how does this occur?
It's not a matter of the budget, it's a matter of how the budget was appropriated. And the information that was given to the then town board wasn't sufficient.
So, in other words, the former supervisor is going to take the whole rap for this. Even if you voted against the budget, somebody must have voted for it. I mean, you didn't know what was in it. I just don't understand how something like this occurs. And then I've heard a friend of mine was saying that there was talk of possible 10% increase in taxes. Since you are in charge of the funds for the taxpayers in this town, why do we have to come up with the deficit?
Well, that's what we are challenged with. In reconstructing a budget, wherein the town can live within the means of the monies that they receive, versus going into a fund balance and supplementing the budget.
What about delinquent taxes on properties that haven't been paid? Does anybody have any idea what the town is owed in back taxes?
The town isn't owed in back taxes. The county makes us whole. So the county is responsible for collecting back taxes, but they make us whole. So whatever our budget is, the county, in essence, gives that to the town. And then the delinquent taxes are turned over to the county to collect.
Do you have any idea if there are a lot of back taxes due?
On an average, I collect about 93 or 94% of what's owed to the town. And it may be 200,000 this past year in delinquent taxes.
There's absolutely no place in the town budget that this deficit can be made up.
That's what we are doing now. This is the budget season, and that's what we are doing now. And we've had a citizens finance and planning committee that's been working on it for the last 8 months, as well as other members of the board, myself.
I still don't understand how things like this can happen. You have X number of dollars coming in, you just don't exceed that amount. You mean to tell me the bottom line on that budget nobody saw that there was something wrong? Nobody has anything to say to that?
As I said, until there was an audit done in 2000 that was completed in April, May, by the professional accounting firm, we did not know what the shortfall was, and there was a $758 shortfall in 2015 minus. So it took 4 or 5 months for that to happen. They had to go through all of the accounts.
I don't know, it's just, that's all you read. Detroit, all these different places. We elect you people to see that things like this don't happen. And I think the taxpayers are getting fed up with covering deficits in towns, cities, whatever, when it just shouldn't. I don't think it should occur.
Any other comments?
Regarding the budget issue, I read about the possibility of seeking supplemental policing and using the fees or surcharges for that to help make up the difference. I don't know if that's been discussed since when I've read, but I just want to make it a point that that type of mentality is corrosive to a community, and it's not what a police function is for a profit for policing. And in this day and age of what's going on in this country, and I speak as a police officer, of what's going on in this country, that should not be looked upon as a fundraising opportunity.
Any other comments? Okay. If there are no other comments, we'll move on to
So
subcommittee reports, and Councilman Huber and Walker, would you like to tell us anything about Carlin and where you stand?
Well, we had a meeting scheduled for August 11th, which we became very evident that there were just too many people away. It's a large group. We really, to move forward, we're going to have most everybody participating, and it just didn't seem like it made sense to me, because I didn't see we had accomplished anything. So we're going to meet after Labor Day, and hopefully more people are available.
Bob, the citizens' rights and everything?
So, this past Monday, we were all here for a really interesting meeting with the accountant. It was open to the public, and Julia has recorded it. It should become available, and maybe that would be a good thing to watch. Yeah, I'll tell you the truth, then you'll understand a little bit better what's been happening. But at this point, the committee met early in the morning also to discuss a few issues. But we're now at the point where the budget is being prepared. Michael Richardson's here tonight, David Lavelle from the committee, and Michael's been working with Tammy Shaw, taking in the department requests and putting it into the framework of the budget. And that is complete, but they need to probably go through it again, I'm guessing, right? Yeah.
Tuesday we'll finish.
Yeah, so once that is done, the plan is to have that go to the Citizens Finance and Planning Committee for comment. Because we're having a very difficult time also at this time of year, trying to get everybody able to come to a meeting. So we're going to try to do comments through email, and then we'll present our findings back to you so that you'll be prepared as best you can in preparation of the budget for September 20th, when it has to go to the town clerk at that time. This is we try to be very open and transparent, posting minutes as best we can. Anybody, feel free to call me if you have any questions. It's fine, or email me. But this committee has been a godsend for the town. The amount of hours it has worked, and the expertise of the people on that committee has been remarkable. And when we get done with this, you'll have a budget that you can look at online and know every dollar and where it's going in the town of Chatham. So this will never happen again. But right now, we're in a period where we have to kind of wait for the information to come in, look at it, and get the budget ball rolling, because the town board's got to get to work on the budget. Then after that, we'll be going back to the personnel manual and taking care of a couple other parts of that. But that's where we are up to at this point.
I also want to make a comment that after reading on Monday, Mike Bucci really commended Michael Richardson and the committee, Citizens Finance and Planning Committee, for all the work. And a comment was made how much the town is saved in having the expertise of these individuals and all the time devoted to this project. This is a monumental project. We're turning everything inside out and then trying to put it back together again. So thank you to the committee and thank you to Michael. I think if we had to have paid for those services, it would have probably been a good $40,000 or $50,000. These are all volunteers. So I can't thank them enough. Have you met with your advisory planning committee?
Well, we've been waiting for information to come in, and Nan Stolzenberg has finished what was called Phase 1, which was taking the information that the zoning implementation committee had completed and going back through and updating and fixing some of the parts of that. She's completed that work. She has sent, it's been distributed to all the members. It's 144 pages. A lot of it was just fixing the code so it was more readable and putting, well, it's all draft, so putting some parts of our code just are in the wrong spots. So she's been repairing that. She's been making it easier to understand. So when you do go online to read this eventually, you'll actually see and understand what is stated. And it is a future goal with the town code for those parts that are very dense and hard to understand, that there'll be, similar to the comprehensive plan, a side box that lays it out very simply. This is what's going on here, you know, so that you're looking at some really detailed code. You'll see that it's not as difficult to understand as it may be to read. So we are currently reviewing that, and we hope to get back together in mid-September and move that along, and then start on Phase 2, which is the parts of the comprehensive plan that weren't addressed by the zoning implementation committee, and get to work on that. And hopefully everything will be done in January. Ready for a brand new town code for everybody to see.
The end?
Yeah.
You will receive my supervisor's report, just a couple highlights on that. On July 26th, I met with Town Attorney Sal Ferrazzo and Vice President Thomas Cohen from Charter Communications. We're discussing the franchise agreement. And one of the things that Tom Cohen asked is that anybody in the town who does not have service and would like to have service, that they please get in touch with the town. You can email the supervisor, email any of the councilmen or the town clerk, so we have a good idea of those people that have the interest in not only the entertainment package, but also the future broadband. I also had a meeting with Mayor Tom Curran and Justice James Borger Forster on August 11 with regard to the monies that the court received in a grant for the lift that was rejected by the architect for the Tracy Memorial Building. And what James is going to try to do is get the grant money reappropriated to something else. He doesn't know if it can happen or not, but it would be a shame if we were to lose that money. But the village trustees are just not going to probably move ahead with anything at this point. Tom did say that he would go back to the architect, but he couldn't give us any definite answer.
Maria, what's the status of the committee working on that whole thing with the Tracy?
We haven't met yet, but we will. Okay, everybody has their reports, yeah, the highway report, building department report.
I've got a question on the building department report. Not so much a question as a concern. 425 of 16, there was an unsafe building complaint. And it says it needs follow-up. If we've got an unsafe building, and this is going back that far, we need to give that priority attention. If that's a safety concern and we know about it, we need to act much quicker. If you could maybe just put a bug in his ear to look at this much faster. Maybe it's not a safety issue as far as the code enforcement, but I think he needs to look and make sure that it's not.
Okay.
So you know we got a complaint on it.
Okay. could also, you can also email Jim.
He doesn't return the call. That's why I'm asking you if it seems that it responds better to you.
Mhm. I certainly will. Okay. Court reports for July 2015. Monies collected were $36,169, and for 2016, $31,478. So we have a difference of $4,691. When we think of the height of the summer, that's significant. I hope that trend doesn't continue. We do have Dan's assessor's report. And Mike West had planned to present to us tonight, but I think we all received this email that he has to chair a soccer association meeting. So it looks like he will be presenting on the Kremlin program in September. And it looks like there's some revenue due the town based on his report, about $1,580 for the teams that are playing through the Morris Memorial.
I have a question also on the parks. We had the incident with the nets we were advised of, and I know it was turned over to the attorney. What was the outcome of?
I'm sorry, what?
With the soccer nets, when the youth put his head through the soccer nets?
Yeah, he's looking into the netting.
Mm-hmm.
So replacing the netting, but the actual goals are owned by the Morris Memorial.
Okay.
So they've been put on notice, and
I know the
waiting for
attorney
them to
was,
do something.
I think the attorney told us that we needed to remove the nets right away due to the,
Well, it's a matter of not necessarily removing the nets, but putting the goals. There are several things you can do. If you take the nets off, it takes about an hour.
I went over to look at it through. I actually looked in the scene that they made covers for it, trying to find if they could just sort of cover the netting, and that's not a real easy thing to do. It just, I know we're going to put a notice, the person made a thing, so I'm just curious to where
Want to have signs put up also.
Okay.
I think he moved them
I know he was
to a
going to,
more inconspicuous
Right.
spot behind the fence, so
They're
they're
also-
sort of out of.
You told me they're standard netting too, it was just
Yeah.
this odd thing, and not like they're out of.
Yeah, I asked him to see if they were old nets. That
They're
may be
not.
standards
They're
changed.
he sent pictures to me, everything, showing me actually with the kids on the playground and using them, and it's just an odd thing to happen, and just made everybody nervous.
Yeah, put signs up and maybe use that caution tape and put caution tape around it.
My other thing on the parks was, I know I had brought it up a while back about marking for handicap, accessibility parking, and also, I know it's probably going to be new at this point with the park being closed down, but there was a request from a resident about the handicap parking and a handicap bathroom. I know we talked about the porta johns, they do make them handicap accessible. Did we ever look into that any further?
There is a bathroom at the other pavilion that Ed says is handicapped accessible. The maintenance.
Right, what is it? We can say it is, but if it's not marked and doesn't meet certain standards, we need to make sure that it is. Maybe it's something Joe could do, maybe Mike could do, but we should probably look at to make sure that it is. It's just been brought to us, so we need to just follow up on it, that's all. Okay?
Okay, then we'll have the supervisor's report on the financials for this month, balance sheet, and profit and loss statement prepared by Michael Bucci and Patterson Koski. And he went over that on Monday night. All right, under new business.
No, I have a couple of things. The first thing is that the Keeping Identities of Seniors Safe, the KISS program, sponsored by Holly Tanner at Columbia County, will again take place here and that will be September 6th through the 23rd. So there will be bins out in the lobby. There are all kinds of documents that can just be brought here, put through the slot. You are safe and secure here. It goes directly from the town hall over to their facility on Route 20 in New Lebanon, and it is shredded right there. So you don't need to worry about the security of that. And the other thing too is I wanted to let everybody know that Columbia County is holding a household hazardous waste collection day, and that's going to be on September 10th from 8 to noon. And there will be a flyer out on the bulletin board if anyone wants to know what they are collecting.
And that's the 10th?
Yep, Saturday, September 10th from 8 to noon. And hunting licenses have gone on sale for 2016-17, and the deer management permits will be available up until October 1st.
The Chatham Brewing and Chatham Area Business Alliance requested the use of the jointly owned parking lot, jointly owned by the village and the town, for Oktoberfest, which is October 1st, from Pavilion and Counties. The village trustees have, at their last meeting, a week ago tonight, so they passed that resolution. It's something you
I'd like to move that we okay that also.
I have a resolution for it. Any, the town hall gutter in the rear of the building, which is the front entrance, has fallen apart. We got a quote from Wynn and White for $600 to replace the gutter. It's the same company that has done work at the highway department. It's a lot of money, but I don't think that we can let it go. It needs to be done.
How much money was that? Could you speak up? I can't hear you back.
$600
To replace what?
gutters,
All of them or just?
broken gutter across the rear of the town hall building.
Sounds like a lot of money.
Have there been other bids?
It's not required under the, it's under $1,500.
On those circumstances, with the way the budget is, the way the money is, I know it's not required to bid it, but at $600, maybe we ought to see if there isn't somebody who can come in reputable under that cost.
Worth knowing.
Why not?
Yeah.
We can't wait too much longer, though. I don't know if you've noticed the sinkhole that's developed again out there.
One of the problems that we have is that there's the, in the corner off of Beth Ann's office, you go down in the basement, it's been broken through the wall. There was originally going to be a separate entrance to through a Bilco door and walking downstairs. And that never materialized because it was poorly conceived. So water will reach down into that cavity. And that's why it's important that we do it.
So you want more? No.
I think we need to.
I agree with everything. I think it's worthwhile. Just finding out, because it does seem like a lot to me too.
You know, maybe we can make it expedient. If we know we've got a bid of $600, if we can get several bids that come in that are under the $600 mark, and they're all within that park, to give Maria the power to go ahead and get it done.
Well, if we put it out to bid, then we have to ask them to rebid it too.
Right.
We can't.
I'm not, yeah, I'm not assuming we have to do that. But at the same time is to make it faster, if this board is comfortable with that, giving you the okay to get the bids under $600, give it to the low bidder, as long as they're a reputable company and have insurance, to move it along. And that would solve the issue of doing it down.
I'll make that a motion.
That's a motion.
That whole thing is.
That whole thing. You want to repeat it? No.
How you doing, Beth Ann?
I make a motion to rebid the gutter project. As long as it comes in under $600 and the people are properly insured, to allow Maria to okay the project to be done to save time.
I say.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We received an email from the town attorney after the August 4th meeting with regard to the public comment section of the meetings. Has everybody read that? Yes. So I'd like to discuss it a little bit. I think his point is well made that if someone gets up in the first public comment, has a public comment, something to say, that they should get up at the second public comment and reiterate the same thing again. So what are your thoughts?
On that point or some of the others?
Well, on that particular one, I don't know anything else.
Let's make the point. Unless during the meeting, if something changes that they feel compelled to speak to it again. I don't know how you control it.
I think if somebody starts speaking, repeating exactly what they did, then we just need to shut it down and say, we've heard this, if you have something new to add, it's just going to put pressure on Maria as far as trying to control that and us to back her up.
I mean, I think some kind of statement that it's clear that you might do that.
Right, and that's what the statement suggests, the statement.
It tends to be in it.
Okay. So I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the proposed statement that the town attorney has given us in the email of August 11th. Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Also, I met with the Land Conservancy, I think it's under 32 before, with regard to the town-owned land between Dorland Road and Riders Mills Road. That strip of railroad bed is an important component to rails to trails coming north from Ghent and from a trail system coming south from Steventown. And I talked to the Conservancy to see if rails to trails would have an interest in that property, and if so, could raise money so that we could sell the property to the rails to trails. They've been out to the site, the Conservancy has. They're working on it right now. One of the things was that the fence on the Dorland Road, the fence that was put up, was a gate fence on the Dorland Road was down. So that was, Joe Rickett was going to go and take a look at it, see if that's being repaired. So I'll keep you posted on what their findings are and what they can do. Carol Pinkowski is moving out of town. Carol has served on the office of the Aging Advisory Council as a representative of the town of Chatham for many years. If you recall, earlier this year we had interviewed Carol Hageman, and Carol has an interest in taking her place. I first want to thank Carol Pinkowski on behalf of the board for her years of service on this very worthwhile council, and we wish her all the best in her new home, and send our best regards. I'd like to propose that we appoint Carol Hageman in Carol Pinkowski's place. So if I have a second.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'd just like to say that I've known Carol for some time, and
Carol Hageman?
Yes, Carol Hageman. She's had a very distinguished career as a gerontologist, and she will not only represent the town of Chatham very well, but she will also be an invaluable resource to the county.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Okay. Under old
I have
business.
one thing under new business. We have a Facebook account that I see is out there. I believe when the Facebook was put out, it was putting out just to post information only. I've noticed that somebody is responding back to comments on Facebook. Who is it that's making the responses?
Under my direction, Linda Suskind.
Is this something
She's
you want to be doing, is rebutting and
Well,
trying
you know, there
to
was,
get into?
to clarify some of the comments and everything. What we did originally with the communication committee was, the town was going to boost some of the Facebook posts, but that has been dispensed with since we.
I understand that it's still being boosted, but it's being financed by somebody else privately?
She's contributing to it, yes. She's
Okay.
paying for it.
Is that something that seems to be, I don't know, that seems a little improper to be boosting it just for an agenda? I mean,
Well, the problem is that if you don't push it out and get it propagated through a lot of other people, then it stays pretty stagnant unless people go on it. So we could have a Facebook page, but if it's not going anyplace,
so all comments that are being made on are approved by you before they're on there?
yeah.
Okay. I don't like it, but
Okay, old business. I just want to mention that local law number 2 of 2016, the abolishment of the position of the town controller will be on September 15 at the town board meeting. We held a public hearing back on April 21st. So at that time in September, we will have the law before us again. Okay, we have the citizens of planning and finance recommendations. Bob, would you like to review those again?
Let's see.
Copies?
Those recommendations, we've already taken care of one of them, which was to adopt the employee compensation and benefits manual. So that one has been dispensed with. The next one, which is important, but will be in the, I guess, in September town board meeting, is to convert, it's called the town board fund.
Town hall.
Town hall, which was the town board fund? Town hall reserve fund to a new reserve fund that would pay employee pensions. By doing that, that would relieve the town of a $79,000 burden. In the world of reserve funds, you cannot just take a reserve fund and use it elsewhere. Once a reserve fund is set up, it has to be used for that. And this town hall reserve fund is just sitting there. It has not been used. Not sure how it even started, but it's being handled as a true reserve fund. So anytime you close a reserve fund, and if you're not using it on something similar, then it has to go into a new reserve fund dedicated to pensions, which is what we're doing here. So we have to get, that requires legislative action. We're hoping to have that ball rolling when South Plaza returns from vacation, and then into the September meeting, and moving, hopefully, we'll have everything in place before the end of the year, so we can count on that money to give us a little breather. Let's see. So, many of our recommendations that we have also kind of fallen into the budget cycle. And really our recommendations that the town board has to decide on when they wish to discuss them. And personally, I would recommend that some of the next ones that I bring up again, we wait till we receive the draft tentative budget so that we can speak with some good knowledge of what we're facing as far as the budget for next year. But the first one had to do with the two boards, the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Planning Board, and a reduction in size from 7 members to 5 members. These people, all the members are paid minimally. A member on the Zoning Board of Appeals or the Planning Board are paid $2,655 a year. It's quite high. It's the highest in the county. And our chair and deputy chairs also receive higher compensation than that. Also, one of the things that we need to consider when we're talking about these boards and the size of them is that the number of board members dictates the years of that their term is. So right now, if you are appointed and it's a 7-person board, it's a 7-year term, and you cannot be removed without cause. So one of these people are appointed, we can't remove them unless they do something very, very bad, done on a criminal, in fact. So that is a consideration that we have to think of, besides saving money. Trying to reduce the amount of compensation we can reduce for the new members coming on, but we're unsure yet, and South Wales is looking into it. We're unsure whether we can reduce the existing appointees' salaries, but we'll know that soon. And when we know that, it'll help us in our budget building process. So, I mean, I don't know if we want to handle that, make a decision as to when we wish to handle that, or just let it go until we get more information from them regarding the budget.
I think it was good to know the opinion from South and Nassau.
Okay.
I'd be interested in knowing, in terms of other municipalities in the county, how many of them have, 7 is the maximum, is that correct?
7 is the maximum.
And how many have that many, what's the general?
Two towns in the county have 7.
Us and?
Kent. And the others are, usually they're 5.
Mm-hmm.
Some have even numbers, which makes no sense. But they may be counting an alternative as a member, so it looks at 6, but it's actually 5. And they have an alternate who's standing by should somebody have to take themselves out of an issue.
Or the chair doesn't vote until there's a tie. Sometimes they'll do it that way. If there's a tie, the chair doesn't vote.
Yeah, but that's not how it's set up legislatively. I mean, the state law says you vote. But I don't know, that's how someone would probably handle it too.
And also, one of the reasons for 7 is the agenda is trying to have a quorum. If you have 5 members, and it's sometimes harder to get a quorum of 5,
Yeah.
fit that meeting into this.
There are towns,
Some have alternates.
and there are towns that actually have 3, especially in zoning board of appeals, that, one of the things that is changing here in Chatham is more responsibilities being put on the planning board, which is what is routinely what happens. It's what the law says is supposed to be happening, but that's what routinely happens in most towns, that planning boards receive information actually, it starts off with the building inspector, code enforcement officer, who makes a first decision and then moves it to the planning board. And then that way the zoning board of appeals operates as the appeals court, so to speak. The zoning board of appeals in most towns meet just a few times a year as appeals come up from somebody who has been given a negative, some type of negative decision by the planning board. So then it goes to the zoning board of appeals, and you go there, and then after that it becomes, you can go into the courts through Article 78, if you so desire. But that's the usual routine. And the law, as it's written, is very interesting because it dictates that planning boards need to be 7 or less. It says for zoning boards of appeals, it says it should be 5. But if you currently have 7, it's okay. When it was written back in 73, I think it was. So that's why so few towns have ZBAs that have large 7-member ZBAs. And one of the points that a ZBA member made to us is that he made the comment about the quorum, which, to have a quorum, when you have 7 members, you need 4. And when you have 5, you need 3. So it gets really difficult when you go down to 3. That's where the problem is. You get down to 3, but you have to have 2. And then those 2 have to vote the same way.
And usually when it comes to that type of deal, it's a very important issue at that point. It comes to really legal issues, and that's why they'd rather have more than just 2 people voting on that issue in favor of it. They feel more comfortable having a larger amount of people voting on the issue, is what I was told.
Yep. That's what they voiced. So, well, that's where we are with that stuff. So, wait. Come on. Okay. Next point that that came up was regarding using the county assessing program, and this would mean going through a transition period and trying to figure out, so the county would pay us, I forget, $7 per parcel.
Charges.
Yeah, right. It'd be nice if they paid us. We would pay them $7 per parcel, and they would take over the assessing duty, and you'd have to have somebody in-house here, and that's still, I think that has to go through the budget process further before we.
What kind of money are we talking having the county do with that? At $7 a parcel, how much money is that compared to what we're paying right now?
It's about 2,500 parcels.
$18,000.
$18,000. It's about $18,000 plus you'd add in a clerk, probably.
Is this to revow?
No. It's
Is it
just to do with the assessing services. So.
So what's the savings estimated?
Yeah.
Now, our current assessor is doing the reeval, where the county, how would they be doing that? What would they be charging to do that?
Well, the usual, being a part-time resident in another town, going through this, and I'm pretty certain that most towns, what the assessors have is they do have a 60-point checklist, so to speak, of all the different things, but the responsibility is to go and look at the house and dimensions, number of bathrooms. It's all very objective.
What I'm saying is, what's the county going to charge us to do that? We already know that.
$7 a parcel.
That including the reval. That's all part of the county assessor taking that over.
$7 a parcel.
I don't think so either.
No, it's not true.
It's not.
Reroute can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It's a total separate thing. The assessor's office is assessing the value of the property, but that's not.
Well, okay, I don't know what, I mean, if you're
Okay, so
expecting.
No, I'm not expecting, what I'm doing is I'm just asking it so that you can ask to find out what the county would cost to do that. Because we have an assessor that's already in the process of doing it, and has been doing it as he goes along with his job. So if we're gonna now take that away, the county's gonna do it, are they gonna also do that, and if so, what cost?
I guess I'm a bit confused, because, when you talk about a reval, I think of, a professional firm coming in and,
do it every 5 or 10 years.
yeah, doing a complete reevaluation of all the properties in a town.
But
Like
that's
what
legal.
happened in Canaan, that's what I think. If you're saying that,
He's been doing it for several years, and I think the number was in the high 80% that he was getting our property back up to,
Well-
and trying to get to the 100% number.
right,
So, excuse me? Reassess. So,
Right.
I mean, we just gotta make sure that whatever we're asking the county to do for us is exactly what our assessor is doing for us now. So maybe we need a better description of what our assessor
Okay.
is really doing for us compared to what the county's gonna do, so that we are comparing apples to apples and not
Yeah,
just
that's
a
fair.
financial number.
And get a proposal from the county.
Right,
So
because
that's in writing, and it's not up for thinking this may include this or may.
we're talking about losing 2 more employees to the town.
Why would this be necessary?
We're not having a conversation.
Oh,
We're not
excuse me.
conducting the meeting, we'll have the comments after the meeting.
Okay, fine.
okay, the next was, and we're in the process of building an RFP for the building zoning and code enforcement, and we'll have to wait to get more information.
I think that we should have a motion on giving an RFP out, so that we can collect that information for our next meeting.
Okay, that makes sense.
This would be an RFP for the building department services done by an engineering company. So find out from engineering companies what they would charge to handle the building department services. Then we can properly evaluate what our costs are versus what we outsourced it.
You're also talking quite a difference in quality of people. An engineer compared to your layman who's doing your building department. I mean, we have a building department now, the gentleman's still training, he's still not up to snuff on the
No,
job.
he's been certified.
Well, okay, then maybe we should talk privately, but there's a lot of issues in that building department. Every time you turn around, there's no complaint, so you're comparing our building department as it sits now to an engineer. It's not, again, it's not fair to the building department to compare him to an engineer. There's a huge difference in job descriptions, but an engineer is going to do compared to a building inspector.
No, an engineering firm does building inspections for towns.
All right, I'd like to see the cost. I'm
We're
not
not
arguing the
talking about
RFP.
hiring an engineer. This is a service that they provide, and the towns outsource their building department.
I think, I'm willing to look, I'd like to see it, because I'm sure it'd be much more professional than what we have now.
So I make that motion.
Second.
Have a second. Do you have any more discussion? All in favor?
And the last point we had deferred. It's, I don't know if we want to handle that tonight. Just the maintenance worker.
Yeah.
Okay. So, at the meeting when we first made these recommendations, we have, one of the recommendations was to eliminate the maintenance worker who works at the town hall, to Tracy, doing landscaping, and works at the highway department also. That, then the services of that position would be taken over by private firms. So for like cleaning, you hire somebody to clean. For mowing the grass, you hire a private firm to mow the grass. So that's out there.
And for any repairs, for
There's hire.
plumbing, electrical, anything like that, then we have to hire somebody to come in and take care of it.
Bob, could you explain to the cost savings involved and why
Well,
that's?
the package right now is about $48,000.
Yeah, so it's $48,000, which includes salary, medical, FICA, pension.
Do we, I guess, do we have a job description for that position also? And one of the things asking about the job description, I know is, we're talking about hiring things out, which sounds like it probably could be cheaper doing it that way, but what comes to my mind is the screen right here. Our handyman's going to put that up. Are we going to hire somebody to come in the future, kind of do something like that? Is that what we're talking about? We would have to do it, we'd have our own maintenance man. We couldn't use a union guy to do that, so we would have to hire somebody to come in and do something like that. Is this right?
Or do without.
Or like the painting and little things like that, repairs, okay?
Yeah. That's exactly what we have to be doing. There is some work that probably could be done by the highway department and charged back, so to speak. Yeah, so Michael just brought to us, yeah, it's for total compensation comes out to right now $48,296. So that's let's see, go back through this cost per hour. So total compensation comes out with, based on hours, of about $27 an hour. Is that right? Am I reading that right? Maybe you should.
Yeah, on hours paid, it's $23.22 is the total compensation. On hours actually worked, so this backs out paid leave,
Right.
it's $25.69. So there's a fringe package that's equal to 72% of payroll. But you're buying 1,880 hours of work for the money. And then this analysis was given to the board on alternate costs.
Great. Estimate on alternate costs. Looking at the hours worked by the current maintenance person and some estimates there, it reduced costs to be close to $25,000.
What are we actually paying him an hour?
48,000 something.
No, it's what are we paying him per hour to work?
Hour paid or hour work?
And then when we pay him today, if he's working today, he's paid how much an hour to work here? He gets paid every,
Well,
what's his wage that this gentleman is making?
his
We
hour,
can say these numbers, but I wonder what do we actually charge, what is he actually making? I mean, we're not paying him $26 an hour.
Well,
We're paying him probably approximately $15, $14, $15 an
I
hour.
think that this cost is including benefits.
Yes, they are.
yeah, he's $15 an hour, but then there's another, the cost of his benefits, because remember, it's 15.8% goes into pension,
Right.
it's 100% medical.
I just, when I was asking exactly, I want to know what he was making per hour. So one of the cost savings could be is, as a part-time maintenance man, maybe we don't need to be offering all these extra benefits and all these other things. We could reevaluate that, because with his job description, if he's doing some plumbing work, he's doing some electrical work, he's doing a lot of these things, if you're gonna hire this out, you're not gonna get anybody who's insured and in business that's gonna work for us for $15 an hour. You're looking at more of a compensation rate of anywhere from $100 to $125 an hour to do some of our projects. So again, I want us to just, I think there is a way to make some savings here. I think it's gonna hurt the gentleman we have working for us. We may end up losing him, we may have to hire somebody else that may work for what we're looking for. But I think when we start looking out and having outside resources do what we're asking, I'm not so sure we're gonna be making any kind of savings. So I'm just throwing it out there again for you to look at those numbers. I know what some of these people make. I'm in that business, and you couldn't hire me for $15 an hour, and a lot of people in the profession, you can't get it. So just have to be aware of it, that's all.
Yeah, where did the estimates come from in terms of what one would be paying a service or for the service?
Local market.
Local market, I mean, is that are these service, are like the companies that do this, or are they, individuals, or?
There's a database for the region throughout the state, so wherever you're at, North Country here, wherever, there's a database that we go to get what the day wage is for contractors. So, for example, if you're down in Orange County, those numbers are a lot higher. But to Harry's question, Henry, I'm sorry, if you kept him at 15 part-time, this person would still be pension eligible because they're in the system now. So the pension and the employment taxes, he would come out just a shade under $19 an hour. So if you take out the medical and the paid leave, thank you.
I hate to talk, because I hate to hurt an employee like this. I don't like to see this, but, okay, just putting more food for thought out there.
Right, and let's look at that. Let's say it's 19 an hour, 50. What's the total hours? So 1880, right? Yeah. No.
Yeah, you're buying 1,880 hours of actual work.
Right. So let's say you make it part-time, cut it in half. So that's working 9. What's it called? 900 hours. So 900 hours times the.
I know by making it part-time, we also don't have to worry about paying the benefits. We've done to other employees. We've made it part-time positions, not have to pay the health care benefits. Again, I don't like it, but we're going to do it.
What I'm getting to is you take the 900 hours times 15, 18, whatever, make it 20. Is that going to be enough of money to pay for
Outside.
outside stuff? That's the question.
That is definitely a question.
Yeah.
So the analysis had that at a minimum you need 600 hours of maintenance work. You might need as much as 900 hours of maintenance work, who knows, right? So if you're between 600 and 900 based on that analysis, I think you did 880, something like that. It's about $25,000 net savings. But again, if you have too many gutters you have to repair, it adds up. Everybody has a house. But it looks like you need somewhere between 600 and 900 hours of maintenance work for the structures that are here.
Thank you.
Okay. So that's part of heading forward in the budget. Decision on that.
I have one more thing under old business. A while back, we talked about audit and requesting an audit from the state controller. Has that request been sent?
Not yet, but will be.
Okay.
Talked to Michael Richardson and Mike Fucci about it. One of the problems is that once they come in, the accounting department will be turned inside out.
Further? Right, yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So we have to be considerate of Townley's time, and if they could come in the winter time, that would be good.
I guess the reason I'm looking is we did make the motion and voted to have this done. So it was an approved thing to do. So we need to follow it up because we did in front of the public with such thing that we were going to be doing it.
And it will be, and that's the reason why.
Okay, I just want to make sure it doesn't
Kathy is
fall
up
through
to
the
her
cracks.
eyeballs in the budget.
I know she is, just like I said, it's something we voted on, it's something we approved.
Well, I'm the one that proposed it, and that's what I plan to make sure it happens.
Okay.
Mary, I failed to tell you today when I saw you that I did a follow-up with folks down in Poughkeepsie, and they thought that at the earliest they could get him in here somewhere around Thanksgiving, December, and of course they reminded me that that's holiday time, that at the earliest it would be around there. So you're probably looking really at January.
So then that would be good, we would put the request in now, get us done sooner, and rather than putting it out any further.
But there's an informal request in now, but we need a formal.
Right, that's what I'm asking for, because it's what we approved to have done, so I'd like to see us put the request in.
Okay, for the resolution portion of the meeting, and I'd like to have a motion to approve the minutes of the town board meetings of May 5, May 18, and May 19 of 2016. Can I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion, revisions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? I'd like to make a motion to accept the abstract as presented and to pay the bills.
So moved.
Second.
Comments?
Any comments?
Yes, just for clerical work, one of them was listed as country outhouses, it's supposed to be county. That was in our paperwork, not that it's a huge deal, I just want to put it out there. And also I was questioning why we're buying newspapers.
Why we're buying newspapers?
Yeah. Simple question. Why are we buying a newspaper for the town hall?
There are public notices in there that the town clerk.
Okay. I see it in there and I'm thinking, why are we buying newspapers?
It's a lot of official records,
Okay.
resolutions, public
Question
hearings.
asked and answered. No, I just found it kind of odd that we're still buying newspapers. And that's all.
We're not sitting around reading the newspaper.
Not everybody likes to read it on their little big screen.
I'm part of that tree committee. We're trying to save the tree here, you know what I mean?
Oh, boy, I print on all four sides of the paper now.
Okay.
Okay, I think we had a motion to accept the abstract as presented and pay the bills. I have a second, and all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Yes. I'm going to make a motion to accept the town accountant's financial report of July 31st. A second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, this is, we had a public hearing earlier, and this is the resolution authorizing the adoption of the town board of the town of Chatham, New York, of local law number 3. Whereas a resolution was duly adopted by the town board of the town of Chatham for a public hearing to be held by the said town board on August 18, 2016 at 6:30 p.m. at the town of Chatham Town Hall to hear all interested parties on a proposed local law entitled Local Law Number 3 of the year 2016 to amend section 138-2 of the Code of the Town of Chatham relating to the imposition of fees by the town board, planning board, zoning board of appeals, or any other town board, agency, or permitting authority. And whereas the Columbia County Planning Board reviewed the proposed local law under the provisions of the New York General Municipal Law, section 239, and recommended by letter dated July 20, 2016, that the proposed action does not have any significant countywide impacts associated with it, and made proposed recommendations that were incorporated into the proposed local law, which was the subject of the public hearing. And whereas notice of said public hearing was duly advertised in the official newspaper of said town of Chatham, and whereas a public hearing was duly held on August 18, 2016 at 6:30 p.m. at the town of Chatham Town Hall, and all parties in attendance were permitted an opportunity to speak on behalf of or in opposition to said local law or any part thereof. And Whereas the town board of the town of Chatham, after due deliberations, resolves as follows. Now, therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to Part 617 of the implementing regulations pertaining to Article 8 of the State Environmental Quality Review Act, (SEQA), it has been determined by the town board of the town of Chatham that adoption of local law number 3 of 2016 would have no significant impact upon the environment and could be processed by other applicable governmental agencies without further regard to SEQA, and therefore issues a negative declaration with respect to the enactment of such local law. And it finds in the best interest of the town of Chatham to adopt said local law. And be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Chatham hereby adopts said local law known as local law number 3 of the year 2016, a copy of which is attached hereto and made part of this resolution. And be it further resolved that the town clerk is hereby directed to enter said local law in the minutes of this meeting and in the local law book of the town of Chatham, and to give the due notice to the adoption of the said local law to the Secretary of State of New York.
You wore me out with that one.
Can I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This is a resolution to authorize use of the jointly owned municipal parking lot property in the village of Chatham, August 18, 2016. Whereas the town of Chatham and the village of Chatham own the municipal parking lot off of the main street in the village of Chatham. And whereas the Chatham Brewing and the Chatham Area Business Alliance have made a request to block off a portion of the municipal parking lot property on October 1, 2016 from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. for Oktoberfest. And therefore, the Chatham Town Board approves the blocking off of a portion of the municipal parking lot and authorizes the use of the municipal property on October 1, 2016 from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. for Oktoberfest by Chatham Brewing and the Chatham Area Business Alliance, with proof of insurance and proof of a liquor license provided to the town of Chatham town clerk prior to the event. Can I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Second. Any other discussion?
I'm assuming that in terms of the village police will be on duty at that event. Correct?
Yeah. I mean, the village is really lead probably on it. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, Linda, you moved that?
I moved.
And second? Ms. Marie?
All in favor?
Who was the second?
Right. I'm sorry.
Landra and John?
Thank you, John.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we have a resolution, and this is with regard to amending of the budget to reflect the enhanced enforcement patrol program. Whereas at the town board meeting of July 21, 2016, the town board of the town of Chatham approved the town of Chatham's participation in the Columbia County Sheriff's Enhanced Enforcement Patrol Program, and whereas it is necessary for accounting purposes to track the expenses and revenues associated with this program. Now therefore, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Chatham does hereby authorize the town supervisor to create a new line, A3310.4, traffic control, based on the estimated total expenditures for the Enhanced Enforcement Patrol Program for the period of August 15 through December 21, 2016, and to increase the existing revenue line, A2610, fines and forfeitures, by the same amount as the expenditures of expense line, A3310.4, to reflect the increase in the 2016 budget. The town board also authorizes the town supervisor to sign the agreement with the Columbia County Sheriff's Department to implement the program. Any motion on that?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any other further discussion?
Yeah, I gotta say, I find myself feeling totally between a rock and a hard place on this one. I truly believe in good enforcement of traffic laws, absolutely. I mean, if I'm speeding, I deserve a speeding ticket. Right? If I don't turn my blinkers on when I need to turn and change lanes, I deserve a ticket for it. I don't have any problem with that. I really believe that enforcement is safety, and when people see laws being enforced, it makes them drive more carefully. But I have such a problem in using this as a source of revenue. Not only, just philosophically that I don't agree with it, but I also know, I can guarantee you, anybody gets a ticket in the village, and they're in the town again, they're going to say, boy, that town of Chatham really has a speed trap there. And so, as I said, I'm just really, really between a rock and a hard place on this one.
I spoke, happened to be with the sheriff today for most of the day actually, and this is one of the things that we discussed. And he is really happy with the enhanced patrol, doing enhanced patrol and safety for our community. He does not support this enhanced patrol for a revenue source for the town. He doesn't know where that came from, but he does not use this patrol for that and will not support it being used as a revenue source. I want to put that out there pretty plain and clear. The sheriff is not in favor of that. And I am not either.
Yeah.
As an employee with the sheriff's office. So I just want to make sure that's out there for the sheriff and also for myself.
I just want to reiterate that when we discussed this from the beginning, I was in favor of it as a law enforcement issue, and I think that there are many people who complain about speeding in various areas. Just to name a few, we had a complaint right on the edge of Bunker Hill Road in 17. Rock City Road is very difficult, and if you try to get this handled by the state, some kind of speed reduction in terms of really trying to do any law enforcement, they won't reduce it or they make it very difficult. For that reason, I think it's a good use. I think I would be more comfortable voting in favor of it if we had on a regular basis a report about where are we using this and what kinds of results are we getting, and on the financial side, just like everything else we have to consider, does it pay for itself? Is there a deficit, or is there are we able to enhance our revenues from it? I don't think that that's clear yet. I was unable to get, at the Finance Committee, I was asked to get data, specific data. There's no specific data available about how much money you actually make with this thing. So I think we have to, it's only a resolution through December 31st, and I think we have to evaluate it in terms of why we're doing it, and is it really meeting the expectations that we had in terms of law enforcement.
That's exactly why it's on a trial period. And one of the things you have to realize is that a lot of these patrols will also be on constant property. Anecdotal information from other supervisors that it more than pays for itself. So on that basis, and I don't know about you, but I'd like to have a sheriff's car patrolling my neighborhood. And I want people to know that the town is going to be safe. And we've had break-ins, we've had intrusions. Maybe people will think a second time before trying to do any harm to our citizens. If they know that we have the sheriff's department in close proximity.
Since I've been on the town board in my 8 years, from my memory, Albany Turnpike, County Route 13, County Route 17, County Route 32, Route 203, Rock City Road, all had requests, and you check with the highway department, there's probably more, requests for speed reductions. And most of those, with the exception of a couple small areas in County Route 13, were rejected. And there's reasoning behind that. They need statistics to back but there has to be statistics showing a need or some real problem with the road, showing that. But I've had a lot of people also just tell me that they're afraid to walk on the road. And to County Route 13, I don't like walking on my own road because there have been times when I have felt a car real near me. So if one of the good outcomes of this is because we are able to direct ask for some help in certain areas, moving around the town. If one of the results of this is better enforcement and a reduction in speed, because I just read in the Albany Times Union yesterday's edition about the photo stoplights. There's 30 of them now. And lo and behold, darn it, the revenues aren't appearing like they
Zero.
Well, they're
Profit.
They haven't made a lot of profit. It started off with a bang, but they haven't made much. And if you've ever driven in Albany, one of the reasons is there's a big sign over each one that says, photo traffic enforcement. You stop. You do not run those red lights anymore. And that's a good outcome of that. So maybe we can have a similar outcome.
But they are running it. The thing of it is the money is, there's so much money being made on it, but it has to pay the company back who's running and taking care of the lights and doing all the tracking. So there is money to be made, but it's like the city of Albany that's making it.
Right.
It's the company who put the
Somebody else is making the money, right?
Yeah, so it's
Right,
yeah, it's
so
lowering things, but it's not stopping it.
I would also point out that this is a horse community, and we have horses that are riding the roads. And if you've got cars speeding up behind someone, one or two riders that don't care, you can have some serious injuries. We've got a lot of people that ride bicycles.
I'm an
we've got
avid
people-
cyclist,
Right.
and I
Horseback
have,
riders, walkers, so.
I sit on the county's traffic safety, everyone knows that. And we've gone through, we put these speed reductions out there. And when they do that, state police and sheriff's office will go out on the roads that we request these for. And they will sit there for days on end, different times, different shifts, clocking radar, seeing what the average speed is, seeing how many people are going over it, and gather these numbers. County highway may put out a monitor, or state depending what the road is, and put something out to try to get a traffic flow. So they monitor it. And for the majority of the time that they're out there doing these studies, 90% of the cars are doing what they're supposed to do. You get that one car or two cars that go through there at that speed, you are never ever going to be able to stop that person. You can, and we talk about speed limit changes, you can change the speed limit to this town to make every road in the town 25 miles an hour. Doesn't change a thing. It still comes down to enforcement. People are going to speed on the roads. The best thing we can do if we're going to have this enhanced is within the town roads. I think what people are paranoid of is that we're going to use this patrol to sit on the parkway and write tickets.
It's not what it was intended.
That's not what it's intended to be on our roads for protecting our citizens. Granted, we have citizens that travel up and down the parkway too, but we can't think we're going to put that deputy on that patrol, on that parkway, just to get tickets for us. And tickets is not always the revenue you also think, depending on the type of ticket that's written and how the judge enforces it, to just how much money the town gets if we get any money. Certain tickets, the town doesn't even see a portion of it. So there's a revenue there, but it also comes down to a lot of court charges to see how much that's going to be. So it's not all that's cracked up to be. It sounds good, but it's not what we're making it seem like. And I think a lot of hedging that's going on here now with these borders, because we've all heard the complaints and the people who do not want the town of Chatham to be a speed trap. We all want more safety. As long as we're gearing this patrol, this enhanced patrol for safety, for our community and our citizens, I'm all for that.
For already a speed trap.
But I'm not gonna.
200 and plus $1,000 a year on our coffers. You know, so the fact of the matter is, we're pulling people in, and it's not us. We don't have a police force, you know, it's the county or the
County
state
police.
police, you know, so.
All righty, we've had discussion, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I was an aye, sorry, I was daydreaming.
Motion carried.
Get back to the one.
Well, I don't always look up, so I can't see the shaking heads.
You can't hear the rattle?
Okay, our last resolution, August 18. Whereas the Chatham Town Board accepts bids for the winter sand for the period from September 1 through March, September 1, 2016 through March 31, 2017. And whereas the Chatham Town Board awards portions of the bids to more than one bidder based upon availability, location of material, location of potential job sites, and/or price of various materials, from the lowest bidder to the highest bidder, and therefore the town Chatham Board accepts the following bids for winter sand for the period September 1, 2016 through March 31, 2017. Bidder 1, Polaro Sand and Gravel, $7.15 per ton, FOB. Bidder 2, A. Colarusso and Sons, Inc., $7.60 per ton, FOB. Can I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. We come to the second part of public comment. Name and
David Laveau. One comment on the Facebook page. Maybe it's there, but I haven't found it, to have a link on the town website to the Facebook page.
I think it's there.
I couldn't find it, so if it's
You
there,
have a website to Facebook?
yes, it's
I mean,
commented.
from the town website to Facebook?
Yes,
Right, that would not work.
It's on the Facebook page to the town
Should
website.
be the other
but
way.
the other way.
Should also be the other way.
It should be round.
The other one is regarding the state controller's audit. We just completed an audit, and if we have the controller come in sometime late this year or early next year, I'm not sure how much new information that we're going to learn by doing that. So I was thinking if we could have the audit, but wait till our 2017 budget is in place, the process is in place, we've ironed out the bugs as best we can, then have them come in and look at what we're doing now as opposed to what we did a few years ago. That's my own comment on that.
John Fiorillo, two comments. One in response to that. The forensic audit that was proposed is not about the current budgeting process, but is a forensic audit to determine whether there were any irregularities in budgets passed between 2007 was the last real audit, in 2014. So it's not re-examining this year's budget. It's examining what happened and seeing whether there were some irregularities in that process. And that's what a forensic audit is about. Second comment, in terms of this maintenance issue, I would encourage the board to remember that there are a number of nonprofit agencies in Columbia County with which you may very well be able to contract for maintenance services for a lot less money than commercial services. For example, in Ghent, the housing.
Campbell?
No, not Habitat. Habitat's another possibility.
Campbell.
Campbell?
Camp Hill Village. has a large maintenance department, which various people have discussed with them, subcontracting from Camp Hill for services. There are manpower training programs in the county that I am sure could provide maintenance manpower. Maybe not skilled labor, but I don't know. I just would encourage the board to look into not-for-profit opportunities.
Del Klein, Levine. I have a quick, just one question. Is there any time frame in which the minutes of board meetings are typed and then put on the website? Because it seems that there's nothing current. It's like months and months ago.
Yeah, I have a mailing list. I'm working 6 meetings a month. They're very lengthy. They're very lengthy. I can do a brief